Hey guys, it's Loves to Loom here, and today I'm going to be showing you this really cool Sith Lord bracelet. This is not my own design. This was sent to me by Suzanne HB. She's also on Instagram as Crazy Just Might Work. I have done designs for her before, one other one called the X-Wing Fighter Bracelet. That name and this Sith Lord name are based off of Star Wars. They are super big Star Wars fans in their home, so that's how they came up with the names, and kind of like the layout looks like it. Some of the Star Wars like crafts. So anyway, this bracelet here, you can use double bands to make the bracelet if you're using regular bands to achieve the look that you was going for. However, if you're using silicone, which is what I used here, or limited edition, which I have in this one, then you would only want to use one band because it will get too tight. So for this bracelet, you can see here I have the white going down the middle there, but if you flip it over on the opposite side, it puts the white on the sides and the gray up the middle. So it is somewhat reversible as far as the colors go. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. For this bracelet, you will need approximately 190 bands if you're using regular bands and doubling them. If you're using limited edition or silicone bands, you will only need about 95 bands because you will only be using one band. For the setup of your loom, make sure you take the middle bar pin out. Have the two end ones aligned just like I have here because we're only going to be using these 6 pins in this square shape. Make sure the opening is within those 6 pins. Also make sure you have a nice sturdy hook because it is a little bit tense for this bracelet, and make sure you have a C-clip as well. I will be using limited edition black, blue, and mint green or evergreen. I'm not sure which one this one's called. And they are from rainbowloom.com. So to start laying the bands, the first thing that we're going to do, from this bottom pin here, we're going to stretch it up to this middle pin, just like that. And then we're actually going to grab it again, and we're going to go around this middle pin, but we're going to place it on this pin. So you want to make sure it doesn't go in front of that pin, or behind it, excuse me. So you want to just stretch it like that, making sure that band is in front there. Now we're going to grab the same color band, going from this pin here to this pin here. We're going to make the same shape, we're just doing it in the opposite direction. So going from that pin to the middle, and then we're going to pull it over to this one, also making sure it doesn't go behind there. So just stretch it around that pin and then placing it behind that one. So it kind of makes like a star. Go ahead and push that down, and now we're going to go ahead and add on our next layer. Now I'm going to be switching my color. I'm just going to go from this middle pin, or this left bottom pin, up to the middle, and doing the same from this right up to the middle. Just like that. And we're going to do the same thing in the opposite direction. So going from this bottom pin here, we're going to stretch up to the left. And from this pin, we're going to go up to the right. Just like that. Now we're going to go and take the bottom layer off of each one of these pins. So on this one, we have this one black one on the middle. Just go ahead and bring that up and over. Doing the same thing to the left side and to the right side, grabbing the very bottom band, which is black. We have to do the same on these back pins, so I'm going to turn my loom with my arrows facing in the left direction. And I'm going to go ahead and remove the bottom band from all 3 of these pins as well. So just go ahead and bring up the very bottom band, just like that. Go ahead and push those down, turn your loom back around so your arrows are facing the right direction. And now we're going to go ahead and lay on our next layer. We're going to be going back to black. So now we're going to lay that star shape again. So going from this pin here, we're just going to lay it straight up like that, and then we're going to grab it and bring it back down so that it goes over this pin. And remember, that band needs to stay in front of this pin. You don't want it, or in back, I guess, however you want to refer to it, but just make sure that band's back there. Now we're going to lay our next band in the same shape, just the opposite direction. So going from this top pin, we're just going to bring it down to the middle. And now we are going to stretch it to the upper right, making sure that that band right here is not back here. Just make sure it's in front of that pin right here. So this is what it should look like. And now we're going to go ahead and remove the bottom layer once again. So grab that very bottom band, bring it up and over. There should be 2 bands on this middle pin. Bring those both up and over. Grabbing the band on the right pin, doing the same thing. And now I'm going to turn my loom around so you can see what I'm doing. And we're going to remove all of these layers as well. So grabbing the bottom band. The middle should have 2 bands. Grabbing those 2 bottom bands. Bring those up and over. And now this bottom right pin, grabbing that band, bringing that up and over. Just like that. And you can go ahead and push your bands down again. Turning my loom back around. So my arrows should be facing in the right direction. Now we're going to go ahead and lay our next layer, which is going to be my green and blue again. So I'm going to be going from this pin here up to the middle. Doing the same from the right side, going up to the middle. And now we're going to do that again in the opposite direction with a different color. So from this upper left to the bottom, to the middle there, and doing the same from the middle to the upper right. So it should look like that. And now we can go ahead and remove the bottom layer again, which will be black. And there should only be 1 band on the bottom of each of these 6 pins. So going ahead and doing these 3 first. And now you're going to turn your loom back around and we can go ahead and do the same thing on this side. Just removing that very bottom layer. Only 1 band on each one of those pins. Go ahead and push those down. Turn your loom back around with your arrow facing to the right. And now we can go ahead and lay that star shape again. And we're going to keep alternating between these 2 layers. So one layer will be the shape of the star, and then the other layer will be like the V's and the V and the upside down V. So going ahead and lay my star again. If you can do it in all one motion and go up like that and then down, that's fine too. As long as you achieve it, making sure that band's like not coming outside of that pin. Now we're going to do that same shape but in the opposite direction. I'm going to stretch it down and then I'm going to stretch it back up like that. So it should only be going around these 3 pins. Now we can go ahead and do the removal of the bottom layer. Starting on the left, and it doesn't matter where you start. I just like to go from left to right so I don't forget any. The bottom middle here will have 2 bands. Make sure you bring both of those up and over. On the right here. And you know what? I'm sorry, I should have mentioned that if you are not using limited edition or silicone and you are using regular bands, there will be 4 bands when you're looping this one here up and over, and obviously there will be 2 on all the other ones. So hopefully you picked up on that. I should have mentioned that in the beginning. So back to this one. I'm going to go ahead and grab this bottom layer, bringing it up and over, grabbing the middle here, bringing that up and over, bottom right one, bringing that up and over. So now I'm going to turn it back around facing in the right direction, and I'm going to do the next layer, going back to my green, going from the bottom left to the upper middle, doing the same on the right. Now I'm going to switch colors and do the opposite side, making my V. Looking like that. And now I'm going to take the bottom layer off again, which would be my black. Just bring it up and over. If you've picked up by now, you can just reach over in the back and just grab that black and bring it up and over, because it's only 1 band that's coming up and over. If it's easier for you to turn it around, you may certainly do that as well. Now I'm going to lay my star again. So stretching up and then back down. I'm going to do it the opposite way, stretching from the left down to the middle, excuse my hand, and then back up to the right, making sure that band is in the front there, And now you can go ahead and remove the bottom layer, making sure to get both bands on the middle pegs. Grabbing the bottom band from the back pins. Remember, there's 2 back here. Make sure you get both of those to bring those up and over. And on the top right. Now I'm going to be laying my V and upside down base. So going from the bottom left up again. And from the bottom right, going up to the middle. Laying my other V. So it should look like that. And now I'm going to go ahead and bring that bottom layer up and over once again. Just make sure you get all 6 of those bands up and over. I'm going to go back to laying my star. And if it does accidentally go like that, in that triangle shape, all you have to do is just grab the band and just put it behind that pin there. If that's easier for you to lay it, you may certainly do it like that. Here's my star, so now I'm going to go ahead and bring the layer up and over. So I feel like once you do this a couple times, it's pretty easy to pick up on once you figure out how to lay them. It's just very repetitive. I personally think the hardest part is just remembering that star shape. It's probably the most trickiest part. And this can also be done on the monster tail as well. I may actually do a separate tutorial just for the monster tail. Bringing those bottom layers up and over. And push them down. So I'm going to go ahead and just do this silently for a few times to make sure everyone picked up on the process. If you've already figured out how to do the laying and looping of the bands for this bracelet, you can certainly go ahead and fast forward, and I will show you how to close it up. Okay, so it should be getting like squished in there, so you can go down to the bottom here, grabbing onto the ends and just give it a nice big stretch, and you can see the bracelet starting to form. I think it looks so awesome with the limited edition bands. It just looks so clean and tight. So there you have it starting to grow out. What I'm going to do is go off camera and start and finish the length of my bracelet, and then we'll come back at the end and finish it up together. Okay guys, so I did go ahead and finish up the length of my bracelet, so now we can go ahead and get it closed up together. The last bands that I laid were my V, so I did those 2 and then I laid the V, from those 3. So now I'm going to lay my star shape one more time because we want to make sure that is how we end. So go ahead and lay your shape like that and then do it upside down to create your star. If you already have your star being the last one, then just wait for me to loop this and then we'll close it up. But we just want to make sure this is the last step that we do. So I brought all the bottom bands up and over, and now we should only have one single layer, which is our black bands, which was the star shape. So now with your loom looking like this, we're going to take these two outside bands, bringing them down to the bottom middle. So carefully remove the left side and stretch that down to the middle. And just push that down. Going to bring that top right. Slide that off the pin, bring that down to the middle as well. And now we're going to take the two sides up to the top. So go from the bottom left, stretch it up to the middle, and do the same on the bottom. Being very careful not to lose those bands. Push those down. And now I'm just going to take one of my bands that I used, the same color that you used for the star, and I'm just going to stretch that across those two pins like that. And now we're just going to bring the bottom layer up and over. And if you want this to be a little bit tighter, you can like wrap it around 2 times. Oh, you can just put it there. And then, I'm having a hard time, but there we go. Wrap it around twice like that. It'll make it a little bit tighter. And then you can go ahead and bring those bottom bands all up and over. There should be like 3, I believe, on each one that come up and over. So now we are only left with these 2. I'm just going to bring this top down to the bottom, holding on to the middle so I don't lose any of them. Just like that. And now we're going to just place our C-clip on these bands here. Now I'm using limited edition bands, so it might be a little hard for my regular C-clip. If you have a monster tail C-clip, that will work as well. But I am going to try to get my regular C-clip around all these. You can do it while it's on your loom, or you can pop it off and do it that way. Let's see. It's a little bit tight from my regular one, but I'm going to try. There we go. Just make sure you get around all those bands, and then pop it off of your loom. And by me doubling that last band, it just makes it so it's nice and tight right there. If you didn't do that, that's fine. It would just stretch out a little bit more. On this side, to close it up, you have like a bunch of bands here. I would just find like the 2 middle ones. Like you have the 2 on the sides, 2 on the sides. Just grab that one on that end and this one on this end. And grab those 2 and just clip it onto there. I find that they're the easiest 2 to use. But if you want it tighter, you can use all 4 if you don't like that space there. And then just give your bracelet a little bit of a tug. And just stretch it out. And there you have the completed Sith Lord bracelet. I think it came out really good, and I really like how it looks with the limited edition bands. It just looks so clean and sleek. And on this side, I have my blue running down the middle, but if I flip it over to this side, I have my green going down the middle, and I actually think this side looks a lot better. So I hope you guys like this video and like this bracelet as much as I do. Remember, this is not my design. This was sent to me by Suzanne HB, also known as Crazy Just Might Work on Instagram. Please give her a follow. She has some really cool designs, and I'm sure there will be more to come. Don't forget to give this page a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button below if you have not done so already. And you can check me out on Instagram at Loves2Loom as well. So thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you at my next tutorial. Bye!